Well, after 14 years of outstanding service behind the binoculars for Sky Channel, Mitch Meddon is heading back to where it all began, to Queensland with an exciting new job offer. I caught up with Mitch prior to his final call at headquarters. Well, Mitch, great to catch up with you before your last call here at Club and Angle. Congratulations on an outstanding career here in Sydney. One door closes, another one's opening, and a very exciting career awaits.
Yeah, thank you. It's quite humbling coming back to some tracks now over the last fortnight or so, knowing it's the last time I'm going to be coming here for a period of time. Whether I venture back to Sydney or New South Wales down the track, who knows? But for the next stage of my career, I'll be based at the Gold Coast, and as I said, it's now sort of starting to hit home that this is packing up and moving now. So 14 years down the track, and I've enjoyed my time doing all three codes all over the state, and one of my first major opportunities with Sky to get more meetings was through the harness, and ended up sort of being main caller at Newcastle for 3 or 4 months with Kevin Thompson out with a broken leg. So I've got harness horses myself, so enjoy the code, and it's it's good to come back here one more time before I jet off to Queensland.
Before we have a chat about your career, what an exciting opportunity now awaiting you back home.
Yeah, can't wait. The Gold Coast is one of the most progressive clubs in the country, and they had barrier trials this morning for the first time on the poly track, which will open up in the first meeting that I go up there is January 28. And straight after the last race, pretty much at the Gold Coast on Magic Millions Day, they'll rip up the turf on the course proper and start a new project there with relaying it, a bit more camber around the home turn, slightly different refigurations of some turns that they needed to do. And then ultimately the lights go in by the end of next year, so we'll have night racing, a new grass track and a new synthetic track. A hotel will be built there in time, so yeah, it's going to be a real hub of racing up there, and I feel like if night racing can't work at the Gold Coast, it won't work anywhere. They roughly get about 3,000 on a sort of standard Saturday afternoon there, so I think the aim is to push it towards 10,000 on a Friday night.
Now, Mitch, if memory serves me right, you're the third of the final 4 recipients of the John Tapp Scholarship Award for Sky Channel, following Matt Hill, Josh Fleming with Luke Marlowe, the 4th. What a wonderful inception that was.
Absolutely. We've only got to look at, the calling talent across the eastern seaboard of what that scholarship has done. Matt's now, I think, up to his 5th Melbourne Cup next year, 5th or 6th Melbourne Cup up to next year. Josh has made Queensland and Brisbane home, and we've got Luke coming through the ranks now, and he'll take over my position going forward. And I get to go to the Gold Coast and call there, in a great position for me in my stage of my career. So very thankful for Sky, and with Tabcorp's blessing, it's all been a very smooth transition for me to go up, and I can't thank Tappy and the scholarship and the good old days at Sky. That was sort of make or break for a few of us early on. We all had to pack up and move out of home, and all of us were around 19 years of age when we got the scholarship, and the first 6 months was tough. I think all of the scholarship winners will say the same thing, but the work and the drive to be a good race caller kept us going, and Sky really looked after us early on, and I think the John Tapp winners, the scholarship winners, speak for themselves of how well mentored they were early on in their careers.
And a man that was overseeing all that, Mitch, and has played a part in so many careers, both for Sky Channel and other areas, the legendary Graham McNeese.
Absolutely. I got a text message off Shadow a couple of weeks ago, just randomly from a Friday night. He still listens. He still makes sure that we're doing the right thing, and Graham and Rod Gallegos and Mari Moore were a big part of the structure at Sky at those days, and they put us on the right path, and I think that's why us 4 race callers who've come through that scholarship have been so well trained and so well mentored, and can call races across all 3 codes as well, as good as what we can, more so of the way that they grounded us early on. And even small things like making sure your tyre was straight. I'll be in trouble for not wearing one today. Small things like that went a long way for how we conducted ourselves. Not only how we called the race, but how we conducted ourselves as race callers at race meetings.
One thing that we should mention, the fact that all four of you have your own identity. No one wanted to try to be a John Tapp, Ian Craig, Des Hoysted or a Ray Warren, because that was impossible. You're all stuck to your own calling.
Absolutely, and the style of calling has changed in the modern era as well. Back then it was more theatre and more of a you had to describe the picture a lot more to the people listening, because a lot of it was wireless listening. While today we've got replays and races live, and we've only got a short space of time on air. Previously the guys like John Tapp and Ian Craig and that sort of 60s, 70s era, if not earlier as well, they had 10 minutes to fill, 20 minutes to fill in between the race. Well, we've got sort of 2 minutes to get it right and get off, pretty much. So the style of broadcasting's changed, but the dynamics are still there, accuracy and making sure that you're clear and precise in what you're saying.
Your career in Sydney, Mitch, was fast-tracked.
Yep, absolutely. Matt Hill was over calling the Beijing Olympic Games, and he got terribly crook after drinking some water at the rowing. He commentated the rowing, and he got really sick, and I just received the scholarship prior to the Olympic Games starting, and I had 3 months to do the farewells and pack everything up, and Rod Gallegos rung and said, you've got a month to move because we're unsure whether Matt's going to pull through, but how his capabilities are with getting to the races and calling, and whether his memory will still be as good, and ease him back into it as well. So I was fast-tracked, and, look at Matty today. He hasn't looked back since what happened to him, and, he's calling better than ever, so... And as I said earlier, the Kev Thompson situation happened probably about 2 months after that. So I was fast-tracked into calling harness, which I really hadn't practiced before, but that was a good opportunity and gave me an understanding of the code. And off that, I did the Carnival of Cups, which might have been the first year that they had them, or second or first year that they had them. So I saw a fair bit of New South Wales in that series, and it was good going to those bush meetings. I believe most of them now at tab level, while back then it was non-tab. So I'll still never forget the feed at Young Harness. Actually, the CWA spread there, that is one of the best.
Mitch, arriving as a youngster and being able to rub shoulders with John Tapp and Ian Craig, two of the greats. They were certainly, if you pick it in your top 5 or 6, their names got to be mentioned. What a wonderful experience.
Absolutely. I was lucky enough to go to Ian Craig's farewell at the Doncaster Hotel, and to have those guys around at the time, to even just to talk to, like Tappy was great to talk to just at Penrith Harness, while he was training, and you'd almost miss your race because you got so involved in the conversation with him. So I've had great support along the way. I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't be here today without all the support that I've had from a variety of people throughout. Whether it be the race calling itself or just life in general. So, I'm very fortunate to have that sort of help along the way, and that's what's got me to where I am now and going forward to this new role with the Gold Coast.
14 years behind the binoculars, as you said, all 3 codes, there must be some wonderful memories.
Absolutely. To call at Winx's last start at Royal Randwick and call the provincial championship there, I don't think I've experienced an atmosphere like it in Sydney racing anyway, where 40,000 people were at Randwick just for one horse. And when she hit the front and raced away, it was a real goosebumps moment. So to call a race on that card was special. I called the Provincial Midway Championships this year. A number of country cups along the way, provincial cups. Called Chris Lees's first Newcastle Cup, which was special with Mugatoo. And called, little did we know at the time, I called the Caulfield Cup winner winning the Wyong Cup in August of this year. So there's small things along the way that you take away, and I still feel like I'm improving, with my calling as well, because I still don't feel I've hit my benchmark level yet. I still want to keep improving, and each day want to get better at it. So while I keep with that sort of drive, I feel like my calling can get better, and this is a great opportunity to go forward and call some feature races on my CV at the Gold Coast.
Well, Mitch, as I said, you've had 14 wonderful years here. You've done a great job. You've done yourself proud. And you've also made so many friends, and we all wish you well going forward. No doubt you'll be a huge success back home, just like you were here in Sydney.
No, thank you. And you know, it's those lonely times in broadcast boxes where you've got the camera crew and the judges next door to talk to, and, you know, they're treasured memories because they get you through the day. You know, it's easy to front up behind the binoculars and do that two minutes of calling, but there's the 30 or 40 minutes in between races that you need some downtime and need someone to talk to, because you don't know what's going on in their life or your life. And, you know, racing's always been a good leveler to come to the races and be able to get away from things at home or whatever. And the racing industry, even, you know, a person side by side in a judge's box, you can easily strike up a conversation. The day just goes so much quicker. So I really appreciate all your help too, Mick. You've been terrific with me over the years of calling here at Menangle, and you know, we've always had a good chat throughout the day, and makes the 6-7 hour 7 race cards go pretty quickly.
Well, Mitch, thanks very much. And as I said before, good luck going forward.
Thank you.